whichever one's coming off the pile the easiest.
Thank you.
So there's been some, I guess, questions about the concessions here, as of late. Kind of go over the history of it. When we started looking at the concessions, there was a few concerns we had and a few opportunities we thought we might like to try to take advantage of. We'll start with the options. One is we thought that maybe we ought to involve food services with it. It could become an outdoor prep area, so we met with food services. They really weren't interested in having a satellite to their kitchen, so that kind of told me it doesn't necessarily need to be attached to the kitchen. Then we started looking at location back here within the what I'm going to call the outdoor plaza that we're creating for the concessions. And as you can see in the drawing that I just handed out, you've got 4 sets of double doors that come out of the gym there. So when we were looking at it, we said, well, what if we put it in the corner? We've got a large sewer manhole there that we'd have to relocate. We can't just close doors off to the gym that affects your occupancy and your seating, so we'd have, we said we'll have to go and cut some doors in somewhere else if we put it in this location. So we started looking at alternative locations, and we looked at multiples, but the one that I'm presenting to you here this evening is the one that we settled upon. There for multiple reasons. One is it was a good location to serve as a satellite to the gym concession, the existing gym concessions, and then it also served the football pretty well at this location, and it did not involve messing around with any of the egress from the gym on it. So I believe that this concessions is just maybe like 10-15 square feet smaller than the existing gym concessions there. So we felt like it was a good location for it. So with that being said, the interior free clear space of the concessions is roughly, it's going to be a little over 12 feet by 22 feet. And I think the current concessions is about 30 by 9.
Yeah, correct. 9.5, yeah.
Talking about 250 something square feet versus 270 something square feet.
Danny, if you had to guess, is that bigger, same of the existing football concession stand we have now? Is that larger than what we would have now?
I think it is bigger than what we have now, by quite a bit.
I haven't been in that concession, so
That's just under.
Well, I've just seen it from the other side as I get my hot dogs, but it looks
I'm
nice.
guessing it might be 15 feet long and maybe 10 feet deep, possibly. Maybe not even 10 feet deep.
Looking at the serving area for the football is gonna be 8 foot, that's gonna be, right?
yes.
Okay, and where's the pillar, or not the pillar,
It's a
but
light
the
pole.
light pole?
There's a light pole. It's
About where
it'd be easier for me to just come over and fly on this sheet of paper.
I'm just curious about that.
It's gonna be right here off this corner.
Okay, so it's in here,
Yeah, it's right in that corner. Right there.
okay.
And then, here, item A, that is the window into the gym.
Where you see C100B in the oval.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the window, that's the counter into the gym. And the way we orchestrated that was because we had a limited amount of space. We didn't want to get into the door or into the existing structural steel column. So there's a flip-up counter that goes there. So to get into it, you'll open the door under it, flip the counter up, walk through, flip the counter back down, work the concessions on it.
One question, this end over here, that's all the way to the end of the gym, is there possibility of extending that? Because I'm thinking that Danny would know more needs of that for storage.
Let me see which structure you're talking about.
Bring this back.
I'm just asking.
The light pole's in the way.
Okay, so you can't come down.
There's also a water spigot there that comes
Yeah.
out right there in that corner.
And then the reason I'm asking is because of, so what's the plan with getting your supplies there? You're gonna have to wheel them every event to.
There's there's storage in that
Yeah,
concession stand.
there's quite a bit of countertop, base
Okay.
cabinets, wall
Okay,
cabinets.
And Danny will know more.
Two beverage
Yeah.
coolers in there, we plan for microwave, popcorn maker, there's a 3-compartment sink in there. So there's a fair amount of storage in there.
Okay. Then my other question would be, is that 8 foot enough to serve with? Cause we, had that at the current football issue, that you can't get people there and served and.
8
I
foot
was
should be-
right, there's two, 4-inch sheets of plywood there that come down for doors. I think they usually have stuff in one window and they just serve out of an 8-foot window.
So that's basically the
Probably,
same
it's
thing
the
we
same
got now.
thing, yeah.
Just doubling it up. Cause I don't think that the intention is not to close the
Right.
current concessions, just make more concessions available.
For basketball or for football, both?
Yes.
Okay, so there'd just be a auxiliary for football too?
Yeah, there's
So
gonna
now you
be
got
basically
two.
2 concession
Okay.
places for each,
Okay,
That will
each
be
venue.
Part of that issue
yeah,
we have.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other question would be staffing, do we have
Right.
clubs to do that?
We need to divide it up, have one club do one do
Yeah.
the other, see, that'd help their.
That could be bad.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if band would wanna take over.
They were
It would
told-
be,
they-
I-
they were
that was
told.
the old regime.
Yep.
I think the new band
Yeah.
people are anxious to
Yeah.
get fundraising again, cause they've got some
Right.
lofty goals.
Okay, so that would give us 2 concession stands for football.
But how is that, isn't that I guess you would decide where you go, because you're still in the same vicinity, are you not? Where you're gonna
Yeah.
line up for both concessions, cause they're pretty much, or am I wrong?
You're quite a distance
Oh,
away.
yeah, there's- okay.
pretty good
Okay.
distance.
Okay.
You're in the middle, halfway in the middle of the bleachers.
Okay.
With the pressure
Okay.
that we have, and this one would be down on the asphalt there.
Okay.
That's where you would walk around.
Okay.
And the bleachers don't even come that far west.
Yeah,
Do they?
They're close,
Do they?
they're
Yeah.
close, yeah.
Let's see if I've got a blow up of the plaza there that we're creating.
Yeah, there's more room here to the bleachers than when I walked the other night, is what I initially thought.
Any questions on this discussion?
And then is that the whole plaza drawing, George, with tables and everything else that we're looking at doing?
No, it's the plaza, yes, it's the construction. I apologize, I'll have one copy of this, but the existing concessions is over here, this is the new one, and then this is the plaza that we're creating. There's some steps that come down from this level down to this level down here, and a couple of planters in there.
And then we can do what we want as far as tables or seating or whatever.
And there's new fencing that goes in across there to secure that off, cause the idea was potentially someday that could be an outdoor dining area for students.
Right.
So,
Maybe take down fence in there.
there's the intersection right here, that's the gym.
No, there ain't,
No,
there ain't, I was
There's
thinking.
some concessions go over here.
Oh,
Fence you're thinking about is farther east.
This would be like
Yeah.
kind of
That's
upper
why it
plaza
was
up here, and
Yeah,
there's
it
concrete,
is.
and there's, I think it's 3
100
or
feet or
4
more.
steps that come
Mhm.
down, big wide steps that come down right through here, between these 2 planters and then this little lower plaza.
Okay. Then that'll get rid of that
Yeah.
big hill,
Yeah,
and we'll
well,
have that.
there'll be steps inside.
Yeah. And there's 2 drains there, isn't there, George? Somewhere in, one in here and one in.
Yeah,
So that's the issue here with the.
there are, I can't tell you exactly where they are.
It'd be right around this
Yeah.
area here.
There's a manhole
Yeah.
right over in that corner
Yeah.
too.
Kind of be in
That's why
between.
we just didn't wanna build on top of that.
Kind of in this area right in here.
Okay. Is there just one there?
Yeah.
One manhole.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking 2.
Well, you were thinking about the drain for the water that comes down around the gym.
Yeah. There
That's
is
what
one
you're
in
thinking,
there.
yes. Yeah.
Isn't it? Like
Yes.
in here somewhere.
Yes.
And the football field will drain all through that area too,
Yeah.
underground, but.
So everybody all right with construction on it to go ahead and with it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't vote or anything. We'll go ahead and continue construction on it.
All right.
And what about the maintenance shed on the, when's the start on that, do you know?
We are working through soil issues. I just got pricing in, quite honestly, last Friday, which I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to with what was going on at my household. I should have a recommendation to Dr. Comer, probably Friday. Yeah, they had some, there's an overburden of topsoil over there, and the contractor's geotech, when he reviewed the soils, he made one recommendation. I didn't agree with it, so I made a different one, and I think we're gonna go with mine because it's certainly much more expedient and much less costly on it. So, I should have that to Dr. Coleman by the end of the week. And the other thing is we're just looking for 2 or 3 days of straight, good, clean weather to strip the topsoil off, and what it's gonna come down to is we're gonna stabilize that site as well. And looking at it, it's got about I think it's about 18 inches of topsoil on that site, and we're not gonna strip it all off, we're just take the top 6 inches and then cement stabilize the rest of it and be done. And then the contractor's also having some issues because there's some delegated design that we did with them, cause we were, kind of thinking that we're gonna end up with a Graver or DC Metals or one of those, and they all kind of do their buildings a little differently. And the contractor's having a little difficulty getting the engineer to do what we say needs to be done, so we're working through that. I'm gonna meet with them tomorrow and actually, make a suggestion that they hire a different engineer.
Yeah. So they ought to be able to probably start in the next week or two if it starts.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, the guy that's in cement stabilization, is on call, and I'm just probably gonna, once I give Dr. Comer the options there, they'll just look for me and then come in, strip the topsoil, cement stabilize it and get rolling.
Cause the festival comes around about September there, it's like have Emerson.
Oh, is that main drag for the festival?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, the parade will be the main,
Okay.
part of the main drag.
Did not know that, did not realize that. Okay.
So what's the completion date on the maintenance, so we can clean this out?
We don't
In
know.
comparison to everything
I
else,
don't have that right.
yours is obviously is a much quicker build than the field house.
Yes, it'll be a much quicker build than the field house, because it's wood trusses and metal panels,
Yeah.
be much quicker. Field house will take, they'll still be laying block at by the end of the summer, I'm gonna venture to guess, on the field house.
What's the demo on the north end of this?
We have not put that out to bid yet.
Okay,
We have not
so we
put
don't
that
know a
out.
timeline on that.
No, we do not. Once we put it out to bid, it'd probably be a 2-week project. Week to take it down, clean up the site, and then spread topsoil and clean it up. It won't take long.
George, is there any, I know you said you're gonna get something, whatever we're gonna do with maintenance with the soil Friday. Is there, I know we're at the beginning stages of lots of different projects here. Is there, I know you can't predict all the future necessarily. Might there be other unforeseen costs that we didn't know about, looking down the road, just to prepare myself and the board?
I always say that when we get out of the ground, those are all the costs, we can see all the costs after that. And those are the things we control. What we can't control is what's in the ground, what's below the ground. I do know that on the far end of the field house, there's potential of some deeper bad soils there. They dug a test pit several weeks ago, and we're digging down,
7 feet.
6, 7 feet, before they can hit some good soil down there. So, should be this week, they're digging those to digging the actual foundation lines to determine what they're gonna run into, so we can get a game plan put together for that, but, nothing unexpected after we get up out of the ground.
Okay.
Now, it's just like the guy that did the cement stabilization for the field house. He sent me pictures of all the stuff that he tilled up out there. Gas lines, water lines, all those things that were left underground.
Didn't find any gold reserves or anything.
No, he didn't. No. If he did, he didn't share that information with me. But I also know he's still working, so.
Any other,
Besides what you just told us about the maintenance building, auxiliary gym and concessions, any other updates as far as things we ought to be knowing about, right on schedule as far as get concessions going again and?
I'll actually call Luke on the way back and tell him to get going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luke's been telling me Twitter's probably not gonna start this week. I talked to him today.
Okay.
I know there was a target date coming up pretty quick, 27th or so, I think, for the football field to start.
Well, end of this week, I think tomorrow, we're supposed to talk to say go or no go.
I've not talked with Amos, but I did talk with Luke today about, it looks like to me, weather-wise, we can go.
You know, if we can go, great, if not, let's
Yeah.
keep our kids practicing on our field, not
Yeah.
hauling to Orleans. to
That's what we
practice.
talked about at the last progress meeting, is basically, Danny, Brent, and everybody, and Amos have been good enough to schedule things to get the contractor in there earlier, but we didn't want it to start raining and not be able to make some headway, so we agreed at the last meeting to have a quick call on the 21st to say,
Okay.
is it a go or no go, so that'll be
That's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Smart.
Because once they put the bridge across the track, you can't run track practice anymore.
You back anything else?
George, as far as baseball, softball, football, everything, I know we haven't broken ground yet, so we don't know what's under.
Don't know. I will tell you, out of the, I don't know how many fields we've done, we did have to go in and stabilize one field. And it wasn't because we needed it stabilized to support the football players on it, it was just so we could get the equipment out there to do the work. So, hopefully we don't run into that up here on this football field. But, we will be hopefully hitting into some drier seasons. here.
Is that when, and just for my own education, when construction firms place a bid on those kind of projects, is that pretty typical that they don't put a contingency in for stabilization or whatever?
No, they only do what we tell them to do. So if we did not tell them to stabilize soil, then it's not included in the bid, because it's a competitive bid, and that would make them non-competitive if they were including things that they weren't told to be included. The soils report here, if you read through it, it uses a lot of words like may, can, might, and it's all weather dependent. And, when we opened the site up on the field house, if you remember, Dr. Culver, said if this were June or July, I would probably tell them to disc it up for a week and see what it's gonna do, but we knew it was gonna continue to rain.
Yeah.
And we couldn't sit around for 3 or 4 months. My bigger fear was a claim on the backside for weather delays versus this, which in this market could be a whole lot worse than stabilizing the soil, so we made the decision or the recommendation to stabilize the soil to keep the project moving forward
Yeah.
on it. So, there's only one client that I have that I can guarantee we're stabilizing everything they have, because everything they've built on is junk, on it, and that's over in Gibson County. And we know that if we're gonna stick a blade in the ground, we're gonna put lime or cement with it.
Nothing else?
Jess, you good? All right, Danny, go to your ballgame. Good luck tonight.